Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is Christopher Arendt. It is the 7th of September 2016, and there are a few things that I want to share with you today. The first is I am back with my normal hardware setup, so we will have a full look at the precious metals today. I believe the stage is set, so to speak, for a significant move that will feature a series of waves within that primary move coming up for both gold and silver, as well as the mining sector. As you know, I'm not someone for dramatics or to get overly emotional about the markets. I think that is a recipe to have your head handed to you in the markets. But what I am seeing is in the charts, and that's how I like to invest. This channel is primarily focused on interpretation of the charts, of the technical analysis of what is actually happening in the markets. So I don't spend a whole lot of time discussing the fundamental factors. There are 100 different other channels and websites dedicated to that. What I have found most useful throughout my investing career is to really look at the sharp detail in the actual price action of the investments in question, in this case, gold and silver. I understand the fundamentals behind gold and silver, and that's what led me to this point. But what I saw along my career was that it was insufficient to understand the fundamentals because, for example, the same fundamentals were in play over the last 5 years as silver moved down from $49 to $13.65 just 6 months ago. So we cannot rely on the fundamentals alone. We have to pay attention to what the charts are actually saying. I'm going to show an example of the type of service that I provide in my premium service. I do believe it is worth your while to check that out. Why? Because this is going to be a significant move. I sent an alert out to premium subscribers during the middle of the week, last week, and I'm going to show exactly the timing for that for anyone that is interested. I do produce these videos for free because I feel like there is a greater good here. There's a possibility here that people really have the opportunity to profit, to benefit themselves, and hopefully to do something good with that wealth when they have the opportunity to do that. My goal, my ultimate goal, is not to accumulate money for no reason, just for the sake of accumulating money. It is actually to use that to create some awesome things in the world. So that's where I'm coming from, and I do it by a study of the charts. What else? Let's get right to it. We will start with the short-term action in gold and silver, and then we will look at the long-term perspective. One other thing I wanted to point out, sometimes I like to highlight some of my recent pickups. So just so you know, I do a lot of trading in the futures, the options, and the stocks, but I accumulate physical metal whenever I can on a fairly regular basis. This was from my vacation. I was up in the mountains in Maine, and I stopped at an antique shop, and I picked up these. These are the 40% silver half dollars, the Kennedy half dollars, and they were actually being sold at an antique shop for under spot. So I think the total melt value of each of these coins right now is around $2.50. They were being sold for $2. I did a little quick back of the envelope calculation, and I bought the ones that he had. It was only 5. I'm showing 3 of them right here. But little things like that are kind of interesting sometimes when you're going through small towns or antique shops. Often the owner will buy them from someone who doesn't even know what they are for $1, turn around, sell them for $2. He makes a profit. I make a profit. Everyone comes out ahead. Anyway, these are some of the new 40% silver coins that I have. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's get to the charts. Yes, so the spot price of gold now doing nice over the last several days. Starting late last week, we had a bounce off of the low around 1303, hitting a high in the overnight hours above 1350, right around 1353. Keep this figure in mind for when we look at the 1-year chart before coming back a little bit today. Silver spot market hitting a low of 1840 in that region last week before bouncing and coming all the way back up above 20 in the overnight hours here in the United States before falling back to 1975 today. So we are in a trade right now in the power trade service. We caught this bottom nicely. This trade is doing well already, and I think it's going to do a lot better as we go along. Of course, it's not just about when you buy, but it's also about when you sell. So my anticipation is that we have a move coming up that will last for perhaps several months, but that could lead to a more significant correction at the later stages of the move. And then we're going to have to switch gears, even on this channel and in the premium services. We're going to have to get defensive a little bit, unfortunately, because nothing will go straight up. I think there is a fairly good move setting up here. Nothing will rise straight up, and there can also be some profiting from when things move down in the future. I don't think that time is here yet. I think there's a strong move setting up to the upside. Putting this in perspective on the 1-year chart for spot gold. If you are new to this system, I just try to make things as clear as possible. Basically, to focus your eyes on most important points. It's like looking at a map. When you take out an old-fashioned map or a GPS map on Google Maps, your eyes are drawn to certain things. Primarily, you see the big roads, the interstates, and then after that, you see the secondary roads. So in the same way, I try to come up with a system here that draws your eyes to the important points here. So we have in gold, we have this converging set of trend lines that is, this is getting ready for a resolution. And look at what we have going on today. With that price getting up back above 1350, we're having another distinct hit here on this long-term downtrend that goes back from 2015. Notice the bounce came right here at the upper region of this green band that I have had drawn for months now. So these lines are not random. They're based on an observation of where big buyers and big sellers are coming in. And we are looking at the sellers coming down here again, slightly lower than this high. So these sellers are very, very determined to keep the price from breaking this line, as we can see. Why? Because when the price breaks this long-term downtrend line, it's going to be the last signal in the precious metals market that anyone could hold on to say that there is still the potential of a bear market. So they are defending this with everything that they have, and we are watching, and it looks to me like the setup is here for this long-term downtrend to be broken at any time now. I can't say the exact day. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be a few weeks from now, or even into October, theoretically, but I don't think it is going to take that much longer. Based on the surge we saw over the last 2 days, you can see that strength is there in the gold market. There's a strong bid in the gold market, and we are just stepping back now and waiting to see. So it is time to really start to anticipate what this is going to mean for the markets going forward. Next week, we'll look at some of the more longer-term charts. Looking at silver, very interesting but different scenario here unfolding with silver. Silver had acted weaker over the last couple of weeks, breaking down below this short-term support level here around 1925. This was broken and then recovered just in the last couple of days, and now we are bumping against this very short-term downtrend here from the most recent high at 21.25. So silver is caught in something that looks like a flag formation, a bull flag formation, the break of this line, and we are going to be looking at the beginning of this real big move for silver. So we caught this move nicely in the power trade service here down around the lows a few days ago, and we're looking to see how this sets up for a possibility of a nice surge coming into the fall. Once again, notice this is not random where these buyers showed up. This is very significant support here that dates back now for almost 2 years between this 1750 and this 1850 level. Looking at the gold mining complex, this is what I wanted to point out. Now, this is for those who are interested in the mining complex. This is the Precious Metals Intelligence flagship service that I offer. And I just want to show some of the analysis that goes into this. I did issue a flash update for subscribers. Anyone here who is watching can confirm that this was sent out. And I did send that out a week ago on Wednesday, a week ago today. And why did I send it out? Because I was noticing capitulation signals in the gold mining and silver mining sector. And so the capitulation signal coming right in here at the 25 on the GDX, this alert was sent out in real time, and those who were able to check their email in time were able to buy right here at this low, and then the sector has rebounded about 10% over the last week. So I made that call right there. This is the kind of thing that is valuable if you are going to be on an accumulation plan. You know, it's nice to know when we're getting these capitulation signals or when we're approaching in real time the important support levels. Now, I make these videos every Wednesday, but I do send out these alerts to subscribers in real time, whether it happens on a Monday or a Friday or overnight. I'm usually watching the markets most every day. So this has been a nice bounce now, and it looks like we're going to have some consolidation here over the next week or two. But when gold gets ready to break this long-term downtrend line, I would not be surprised if the mining complex just blasts through this resistance here around 30, 31. And I mean blasts through it and does not look back. So we may have one or two more dips here down into the upper and mid 20s. But when it gets through this 30-31 level, I think that's it for the sector. I think the basing formation, the long-term bottom formation that we've been watching now for all these years will be finalized. And then we'll be doing mostly what I call stage 2 advance buying, which is buying after the sector has finished its long-term bottom formation. The gains will start coming even quicker at that point. So it's going to be very exciting. Just to reiterate, this has basically stayed the same for gold now for about the last 3 months. Support zone we saw at 1285 to 1306. The resistance is that long-term downtrend still until proven otherwise. Silver, the minor support was broken and then recovered. A very nice signal there for silver. We saw the strong support zone. This was confirmed. The next wave target still is at minimum 2150 with the possibility for silver to overshoot. But we can't just make one statement now and then take that for the next 6 months. There's constantly new data coming into the marketplace. So anytime that there's new data, which is every day, we must reassess these assumptions and these projections. You would have to be someone who's wanting to operate blind to say that you can take one assessment or one prediction and have that be good for the next 6 months. There's constantly new data points coming into the market. So if this target overshoots or undershoots, we want to be aware of that as it is going along. Mining complex, do not chase these things. Buy on the dips like we have just seen. Thank you very much for watching. The next update will be a week from now on YouTube here. That will be September 14th, Wednesday evening. It should be an exciting week coming up, and I thank you for joining me. Good night.